To this thing, shout out my beautiful co-host Bevie Stitch, who was over there taking notes of what's going on today, because I told her if there's any female in media to watch, she's in the building today. Aww, so let's go ahead and get into it.
It's all about that star power.
Stay tuned, because you know Reece is going to have one of your favorite stars with him today.
Stay tuned.
Oh yeah, we will not disappoint. Right now, let me put some, we need something a little more upbeat. You know what I'm saying? There we go. All right. You ready for your biggest intro ever?
I'm ready.
We're just gonna talk. Okay, the biggest intro ever goes like this from Miss Maria Moore. This FAMU Rattler alum that also holds a master at FSU has held down the midday slot on one of the nation's toughest and most competitive markets for a decade and counting, and she still looks 23. I don't know how she's doing it.
Oh, stop it.
She's got viral interviews with stars far and wide like Mary J. Blige, Janet Jackson, the Braxtons, and more. National brands like Visa, Coca-Cola, Publix, and Comcast have entrusted her reliably sultry yet business savvy voice for their campaigns. I made that up myself. Hit the hype button for you for that, for having that type of voice. All right, you can hear that voice nationwide on TV, radio, and apps, including a universally known fitness platform. And her coined phrase, midday motivation, is something listeners set their calendar for daily. That's the stuff you can read on the internet. This is where it gets sticky, okay? Maria embodies the term brains and beauty. For example, who gets a 9-page spread in a huge magazine brand while completing their master's degree? Maria Moore. This wife, who has the coolest husband in the world, I'm saying that myself, and mother of 4, not only got herself into bodybuilder competition grade shape, but she also held down a multi-market syndicated show at the same time, still continued to train and motivate others to reach their fitness goals. This is also about you. She's a certified trainer and Zumba specialist who seems to turn all the way Brazilian every class.
Well, yeah, kind of, sort of, yeah.
You do. You reach down and pull it out.
Yes.
Her boot camps, women empowerment seminars, and online virtual groups sell out as soon as they are announced. She's becoming a real estate guru, motivational speaker, and merchandise master, all while killing the airways on her own Urban AC show and feature on a nationally syndicated Ricky Smiley Morning Show. Being an awesome wife, mother, and my blankety blank big little sister, Maria Moore, is in the building.
Oh, that's the interview right there. No. Well, I'm just gonna pack myself. I'm just gonna leave. What else is there to say?
Everything. We about to talk now.
Oh, my goodness.
That is your biggest intro ever.
It really is the biggest ever. Like the biggest. I don't even think I need to drive home. My head is so big right now. I'm just gonna float home.
There we go.
Because you have just really inflated my ego. Thank you, brother. Thank you.
Well, it's all true. It's all true things. So, you know, I mean, you're walking and living it. And I just want to say thank you, like I said earlier, for those who are just tuning in to Reec Radio Show. Shout out to CMVA 107.5 in Charlotte, 103.1 in Huntsville. Shout out all our affiliate stations, and of course those listening live on our live stream, Facebook, Twitch, Twitter, and Instagram. Not so much Instagram right now, but Facebook as well. Thank you. We have radio royalty in the building. All right. I have 2 big little sisters in radio. Mm-hmm. You and Miss Shanika.
Yes.
Right. And both of y'all were extremely nice and let me come in and welcome me when I came, and everybody wasn't like that. You know what I'm saying? So I appreciate you for letting me come in and sit on your show. And then when you transition from hot to magic to urban AC, you introduced me to your audience.
Yeah.
And you didn't have to do that. So thank you. I never really said thank you, but thank you.
Oh, my pleasure. I mean, it was really great to pass the baton to you, and you were the most qualified and the most deserving person. So I was really happy to see you go in and kill it. Not only do a lot of what I did in terms of rating, but exceed what I was able to do on that radio station. So I'm just super, super proud of you.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
This is going to be like a love compliment fest, y'all. Just know that that's what's about to happen.
Y'all get ready. Somebody's cutting onions in here.
Like, I love you. No, I love you.
I love you. All right, let's get down into this interview. Interviewing the person that interviews people. This is weird. So when I want to go from the beginning in radio, right? Mm-hmm. So you're down in FAMU, you're doing college radio. When did you know that radio was going to be it? Like that's going to be your thing?
Yeah, you know what? I think that what happened, I really didn't know. I just knew that I was having a lot of fun. You know, I was having a lot of fun. I was at FAMU's 90.5, the flavor station. Mm-hmm. Shout out to all of the Rattlers out there. And I remember going in, I had my own shift. And, you know, back in the day, we didn't have computers. We had like knobs. We had a window. We looked out a window.
And the people who put the Post-it on the window and say.
I know. And you know what's so crazy? It's like when I talk about it, I was like, I sound so old because we were really queuing up records and our sweepers in between, they were like on these 8-track looking cart machines. I forgot what they were called, but carts. Yeah. I mean, you know, I'm not that old, but it was real ancient equipment. But I remember coming in and shout out to my homie Sharif. He was real serious about radio. He wanted a job in radio. And so the music director across the street at the commercial station was checking him out because he sent her a demo and all. And I didn't even know like that was what you were supposed to do. And so on his last break, I jump on with him. And so we're tripping. I'm like, oh, Sharif, what you going to do after you get off the radio? Yada, yada, yada. And so Terry Thomas, she's listening and she's like, oh, well, who is this girl?
Right.
And so what happened was she was listening for him. And she ended up calling me like maybe 2 breaks in and said, are you serious about radio? I got a job for you. So I actually got my first commercial radio job when I was 19.
And it all happened naturally.
Oh, man.
Hi, buddy. That's so crazy. You know what? We talked about that. Hurricane Dave was up here, and I appreciate you giving me that soundbite for him during his interview. He turned red. He was like, man, that's what's up. But he was like, yeah, Terry Thomas had called him about you, and then they chopped it up. So that's really dope, man. That's really, really dope. Right now, Maria Moore, we are talking about her intro into radio. So you get this call from Terry Thomas. She's like, are you serious? And you're like, okay, sure, why not? I'll be serious. Yeah. And you jump into this position. Yeah. What's going through your head?
You know, I'm just thinking fun. I'm just thinking fun. I'm like 19, you know, I'm in college. I'm like on this, you know, independent, becoming an adult thing, you know. And so I was just thinking I was going to go and have fun. But, you know, in retrospect, you know, when I look back and kind of being thrown into that position, you know, at 19 in commercial radio, and shout outs to Hurricane because my very first shift on commercial radio was filling in for him doing afternoons.
Wow. That's a big thing. That's like, okay, your first time playing professional basketball, I need you to sub in for LeBron James for a minute. You know what I'm saying? Like,
so it was, and so that when I did that, I was like, oh, you know, because oh my gosh, I made so many mistakes. But you know what? That experience just kind of taught me, you know what? You don't have to wait for conditions to be perfect. You just gotta go in and do it. Go in and make the mistakes, you know, gain the experience because that's what grooms you and helps you to become better. And so that's what ended up happening for me. And I think that experience kind of shaped the way I apply and how I attack other things that I want to do in life, you know?
You definitely are attacking those things. We're going to be talking about those in a few because you got your hands in a lot of different stuff. But everything is working seamless from the outside looking in. So we just want to say that's dope. You're a very motivating person when it comes to that. So you down there, you doing your thing in radio, you moved to Atlanta. How did that transition come about and everything like that?
Yeah, so I was in Tallahassee for quite some time after I graduated from FAMU, and then I went to Florida State and I earned my MBA there. And so I was a single mom. And, you know, I knew, you know, if you're in radio, you know, you want to go up to a higher market. So I think Tallahassee was like market like 180 something. But then there was a neighboring city, Gainesville, Florida, that was market like 80 something, which was really strange because I felt like the demographic makeup was the same, both college cities. So I ended up taking a job there. And I remember the general manager being nervous about hiring me because he felt like I was overqualified.
Oh, man.
Yeah, and that was just so weird to me because, you know,
overqualified. Like, you're too good.
Well, I mean, I say that to say that, you know, sometimes, you know, when self-doubt sinks in, you know, the world will see you one way and you don't see yourself that way.
Right.
And so, but he was actually right because I was only there for about 3 months before I ended up coming, you know, to Atlanta. But they weren't advertising for a position in Atlanta. I attended a conference called Rock the Mic Conference, Rick Party. And, you know, he threw that conference down in Miami, and not a lot of radio personalities, not young personalities came to it. So when I was there, it was like a kid in a candy store. Like, I had access to all of these PDs across the country, syndicated shows. I mean, you talk Tom Joyner, Michael Basin, like all of them were there. Yeah. And so I saw Elroy Smith there. And, you know, I had a package together. I was already doing some voice work for him in Philadelphia. but he and I never met in person. And so naturally he was super busy after he did his panel, and everyone's trying to talk to him, and he had to leave right afterwards to go to the airport. So, you know, I knew the guy that was taking him to the airport. So I see the car like out in front, and he's, you know, getting in the car, and the back door is open, and I just jumped in the car. And so, I jumped in the car. I just got in. I was like, let's go. And so, you know, I had my package together. I introduced myself. I'm like, hey, I'm the girl that does Loveland, you know, because I was doing the sultry thing, and I was working out for me. So he met me in person. He was like, oh, we got to get you to Philly. You know, he's looking through my stuff. And I'm like, I love Philly, but I've always wanted to be in Atlanta. And so that was a bold thing to say to someone like Elroy Smith, who is a legend in radio.
And like telling you where he wants you to be. You know, that's cool, but this is what I want.
I know, I'm like, man, bump Philly. But shout out to Philly, because I did host a midday show there for quite some time. While I was in Atlanta. But, you know, he said, I'm going to call my good friend Steve Hegwood, and who was the PD at Hot at the time. And they made a space for me. You know, that was, I want to say October, November. And by that following February, I was hosting middays in Atlanta.
Come on now. That stuff doesn't happen like that, but it happens like that. But you were ready. The opportunity, it met the time that you were ready. And you were aggressive about it. I like that. I like that. I see why we've been getting along for so long. You get to you killing these airwaves, you the midday motivation herself. And you're doing all these things, and you're growing as a person and as a woman, right? And now I want to know, like, when did the transition happen where you really start getting into fitness? Because I'm there around this time, and you've always been a person that's been fit, but I haven't seen you like pushing, like, okay, now I'm gonna be the fitness guru of radio. You know what I'm saying? Like, you transitioned that. What happened?
Yeah, you know, I think that with fitness, it was just like a lot how I started radio. Like, I loved it, and I was having fun, you know? And I think that when you do things that you love and that are fun, you will always do well. You'll always do well. And so if you're forcing yourself to do things that are just tied to money or tied to status or to be perceived a certain way, it feels like work. But when you're doing what you love, it's just so easy. And so, you know, I've been doing fitness for a while because, you know, I was doing the Zumba thing, which is Latin dance fitness. And you know what's so funny is one day I was driving to work, and I saw these people running up and down. They were outside this gym, and I was like, what is that? And so I called the gym, and I said, hey, you know, the gym is up the street from my house. You know, I'm a Zumba instructor or whatever. So they hired me as a Zumba instructor. And then over time, you know, one of the lead personal trainer there, he was hyping me up like, oh, you can do this bodybuilding competition. Oh, you're gonna kill it or whatever. And then I met Lee oh my gosh, what's the brother's name that does he's a big time bodybuilder. Oh my gosh. Lee Haney.
Okay, Lee Haney, yeah. Shout out to him and his nephew, man, Malik. What's up, Lee?
Right. So Lee Haney, he came up and I interviewed him, and then he started hyping me up too.
See, when you got the biggest fitness person in the world hyping you up.
Yeah, he started hyping me up, and he was like, oh yeah. So I did the bodybuilding competition. You know, I did the figure category. Right. I think it was like right at, how old was I at the time? 38 when I did that. And I got the national ranking. You know, I placed for my class.
I saw the transition like every day. You was like, I'm going to do this. And you were telling me, you was like, I'm going to be like this and I got to get down to this. And then I started seeing these different pictures on body. You had a 12 pack. I ain't never seen nobody with a 12 pack.
Yeah, it was a lot. You know, it was a lot. It definitely is not a sustainable lifestyle. But, you know, I think pushing yourself and setting a goal and achieving it, I think that is like the most rewarding thing. But, you know, after that happened, you know, I would have people ask me all the time, you know, how did you get in shape or whatever. And a real interesting thing, you know, you talked about Ricky Smiley, is that, you know, I actually auditioned to be a part of that show back in 2015 or so. And, you know, it didn't work out, and it's all good. You know, I just said, I'm all about going with the flow. And so, you know, my attitude has always been, thank you for the opportunity. You know, I'm here, whatever. So, you know, some time passed, maybe about 8 months after that. It was at the top of the new year. And they said, well, Maria, we know that you're into fitness. And can you just come on and give some fitness tips? And that was the beginning.
Now listen. Now what happened?
I got on and I gave my fitness tips, and then immediately, like, I got a flood of people following me on social media.
Yes.
And so the main question was, hey, do you have a program? And I didn't have a program, but I was like,
you made one.
Yeah, I was like, yes, yes,
I love it.
I do. Put this
Right
program
now,
together.
right? Put this program. Let me do
Put
this.
this
I have
program
one.
together.
Give me 5 minutes. I'm gonna give you the login.
And you know, it's so crazy. It just kind of goes back to the whole thing. People waiting for conditions to be perfect before they move on things.
Yeah.
I need the right photo shoot. I need the right, studio equipment. I need this and this and that, and I had already gotten my personal training certification by that time. I just wasn't aggressively trying to do the fitness thing, but after that, I just couldn't deny it. And so I remember I said, well, I have my meal plan from when I did my bodybuilding competition.
Yeah.
I also have my fitness routine. And then I said, well, and I'll have a support group on Facebook. So I used MailChimp, which was free. I put all of the names in the MailChimp. I sent out a newsletter that had the attachment of the meal plan. And I started the Facebook group, and I communicated with people there.
Crazy.
And I said, well, how much? I was like, okay, $15, whatever. And so I got 60 people.
Come
but
on
when I
now.
tell you, I lost my mind. I was like, how many?
I'm finna retire right now.
I was like $750.
Right.
Like it was just so exciting to me.
Right.
And I'll just never forget that because it was just such a big deal. I was like, yo, like that was like really like my first taste of entrepreneurship.
Yeah.
Like, this is my money, and it's because of me.
Your sweat equity, literally, it built that brand and made people want to be part of it.
Yeah, and the thing about it, Reece, is like, in radio, people say, oh, well, they only like you because you radio.
Right.
I tell people all the time, substance sustains interest.
Absolutely.
So a lot of people are on the radio and they leave radio broke. They leave radio bankrupt.
Right.
They leave radio forgotten.
Yes.
And so I knew early on that it was very important to invest in the Maria brand.
Yes.
Not to take away from the radio station, but to add to my value.
Well, I think their personality, people link onto personalities because of their personality, who they are, what they bring to the table. And you brought different layers, you know what I'm saying? Not just your midday motivation, your fitness, your entrepreneurship, your motherhood, your wifehood. Like, you bring all of you. So how could you not like those things?
Yeah. So I mean, it was wonderful, and it just kind of built and grew from there, and it just went crazy. And one thing that I'm really big on is like I don't like to make my own mistakes. I like to study people and say, you messed up right there.
Yeah.
Like, you out in these streets wilding out. Like, you out spending a lot of money. You out running your mouth too much. And so I just kind of looked and paid attention.
Yeah.
And one big thing for me that I just saw a lot, especially within our industry, within broadcasting, is that a lot of people, they just weren't good with money. I'm like, why are these people with these close to $1 million salaries leaving radio broke, leaving bankrupt? Why are they being forgotten? Like why are you in your 50s and you started radio in your 20s and you still have all of these bills and debt? And I'm not saying that things don't happen, and I'm not judging anybody, but
you didn't want to go down that path. You saw it already. We don't need to repeat it.
Yeah, and so, I was just kind of like studying those mistakes, and I'm like, okay, Maria, you got this extra money, you got this blessing, like, what are you going to do?
Yeah.
And I really believe that God blesses, based off of what you do with the previous blessing. That's how your blessings build, you know?
Absolutely.
And
recognition that you got a blessing.
Yeah. And outside of the money, I think it was just very empowering for me knowing that I was changing lives. Yeah. Like knowing that I was helping a woman who was on type 2 diabetic medication and she was getting off of it.
Come on.
Knowing that I was adding years and helping women be around so that they can enjoy their kids and chase and run after their kids and just feel good about themselves again. And so
you helped me.
Oh, yeah.
You helped me. I was extra fluffy for a time. And you definitely got me back. Like, you used the kickstart to get me back working out and get me back in shape. You know what I'm saying?
You were on a 1 or 2 words at a time, heavy breathing plan.
Like this. Can we? No, we're not taking a break. Come on, brother. Sit down, lay down. Do these sit-ups and push-ups.
Yep. We would be down there in that gym, and you were in there getting it. But, I don't always see myself as like the mentor to look up to, because I feel like I have so many people in radio that I look up to.
Right.
But I feel like over the past couple of years, I've had a lot of women younger than me.
Yes.
And so I'm 43. So I have women in their 20s and 30s, like, you know, be on some auntie, like big sister, like, you know, oh my gosh.
Are you embracing that? You should embrace that.
I'm trying.
I don't think it's an age thing, though.
Yeah. Right. And you know, sometimes I wonder, like, you know, am I qualified to tell you you should do X, Y, Z? Right. But I do see like a lot of young sisters doing radio and a lot of young men. And you know, you get on and you're flossing on social media, and I'm like, do you own a home yet? You know, like.
Right.
Them
That's the real flex.
Five stacks that you spend on that vacation, so you can take them pictures and floss on social media. Right. And you're going to get some likes, and it's going to last a week, and it's going to be over with, you know? And
investments you're talking about. That's why I like what you've been doing. That's actually one of the things I wanted to talk about, because you're very vocal, and it doesn't come off braggy. Like, it comes off as more like a teachable moment. Where you're talking about how you've got 2 real estate properties now that are money-making properties. And now you've got your forever home, maybe, because I feel like you're probably going to be in a mansion another couple years. But it's a motivational home. Yeah. Even down to, like, when you upgraded your car situation. You were teaching people around you, like, oh, this is what I did, and this is how it happened, and I used this to get this. I think it has nothing to do with age or status. I think it's more so just the way you move. It's motivational.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I really do. You know.
So I think it would be smart for them to ask you, like, hey, how you know what you doing? How you do this?
Yeah, and you know, it's interesting, especially with women. I think that we're so used to being let down, and men go through this too, right? You don't know people's intentions, and sometimes people have slimy intentions.
Absolutely.
And so when someone is genuinely trying to help you, you're kind of guarded, because you're like,
why
are you being sincere?
Why are you being so nice to me?
Yeah, and I think that's like, we got to heal from that.
Yes.
You know, we have to learn to receive love, to receive encouragement, and know that it comes from a sincere place. Yeah. And I think the thing that really made me think about it a lot was the whole Monique in the bonnet thing. Yeah. And, you know, I don't judge sisters for what they wear, but I do understand Monique's intent.
Yeah, absolutely.
I understand her intent behind that, and I love the way that she responded. And she said, I still love you anyway. Yeah. And you can think and feel how you want to feel. But I did also see that Tabitha Brown, she kind of chimed in and said, well, you know, you talk about tapping a sister on the shoulder, and, you know, she said, but sometimes sisters are used to that tap feeling like a slap, you know? Yeah. And so, you know.
It's a perspective type
thing. So I love seeing people win. Yeah. It's exciting to me. Like, when people get jealous of other people being successful, it's the strangest thing to me.
It's weird. Yeah.
It's the strangest thing. Right. And I you know, I think it's sad, because it's a reflection of healing that needs to take place for that person.
Yeah, that's true.
You know, but when I see people winning, like, I get excited. Like, when I see the setup that you've done, I get excited. Like, the quality of the sound of this microphone, and I'm like, I need to upgrade my situation. You know, like, when I see people out killing it, and especially when I know how they started, I'd be like, come on, Maria.
Man, I love
it. It's exciting.
Yeah. You're quick to repost people and shout people out and leave, like, nice comments. Like, I see you, because we follow a lot of the same people in the industry. I see you a lot. But like, oh yeah, you preaching there, you talk like, you know what I'm saying? Giving people props. I love that, especially because you're successful. Yeah. That is a key ingredient to long-lasting success. Yeah. Like, clap for others. That was a thing we said the other day. Clap for others on your way up. You know what I'm saying? So we appreciate your energy out here in the world.
Yeah, thank you.
Being something we can follow. Right now with Maria Moore on the Reec Radio Show Live. And the Reec Show Live, man. Shout out CMVA 107.5. Shout out to 103.1. We up. All our affiliate stations out there. We appreciate y'all. Being a woman in the entertainment industry, you do it so gracefully. Class and beauty. You do.
Thank you.
You probably hear that a lot, huh?
I mean, I don't know. You know, I just be rolling. I be, you know, like, I just be rolling. Like, I be rolling. People be like, yo, Maria, you are doing the most. And I just be like, it's just.
I'm just doing it. I'm just being me.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it. You did mention your Facebook group. What gave you that idea? Like, I'm just going to do a motivational girl. And I appreciate you letting me in the group with all the ladies.
I know.
You know what I'm saying?
You were like one of the 2 guys in there.
We be like, okay, I'm going to let y'all talk. I'm going to chime in when I can. Try not to say nothing crazy, but what I did love to see was these women life-changing experiences. I mean, this one lady I saw, she was was a large woman, and then a few months later, I'm like, this is not the same person.
Yeah,
and it was. And I'm like, wow, you're changing these people.
It
was. So
that's the same tattoo.
Right. How do you feel when you see these non-Photoshop or surgically enhanced women in your group just change? I know this has to feel euphoric.
Yeah, it is. I mean, it's I love it. I tell people all the time, I've been doing radio for over 20 years, but outside of my family, the love I have for my husband and my children, this program is the thing that I'm the most proudest of. It is my deposit towards my place in heaven.
Yeah, you're that's saving lives.
Yeah.
And you could charge way more than you do. Yeah. I just want to put that out there.
Yeah.
This is $1 million program.
Well, I do have a new program coming up, and it's going to cost more.
Okay.
So don't.
You got to pay to play, baby.
But I decided I'm going to be a little bit more hands-on and intimate with some of these ladies just for personal account. Because of the situation and us coming out of the pandemic.
Yeah.
And, anyone listening right now, if you feel some type of way about the weight that you've gained from the pandemic and living under these different conditions and all of the mental health issues.
Food becomes your friend in the pandemic. I ain't gonna lie. Yeah. Because you stuck.
I think people need to understand it's been a struggle for everyone.
Yes, absolutely.
It's been a struggle for everyone. And I think that sometimes people, you kind of look at people on social media that are just kind of doing well.
Highlight reel.
Yeah, and you start comparing yourself and stuff like that. And so I decided with this new program I have coming up that starts after the 4th of July weekend, because I'm going to let people have their fun.
Yeah.
That it's going to be, it's going to have an extra layer of accountability. Okay. So
I like that. But you gotta pay. You gotta pay for the supersize. You know what I'm saying? You get your regular. You got to put some cheese on it. You got to put a little extra. I feel you.
Yeah. But I would like to add another thing that I've learned is to not be afraid to charge what you're worth.
Right. That's very true.
And over the past 4 years that I've been doing this program, I would just be really nervous about, asking for more money, even though I was given the value.
Yeah.
And that's something that I just really had to grow out of. I told you I started at $15.
Yeah.
And those 60 people grew to 500.
Yeah.
And I'm like, at a certain price point, people don't take it serious.
Yeah. You are a Maybach. You got to charge for that. You can't put them Hyundai prices on that 300. Nah, that ain't gonna work. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So and plus, I was just giving so much of myself, and I think this is also applicable when you are negotiating with a job.
Turn this music down, because it's gonna be a gym right here. Go ahead.
You have to get to a point to where you understand your value, that you can look at the metrics and say, this is what I'm worth.
Yes.
You can look at your boss with a straight face and say, this is what I'm worth.
And they have to respect that, because you know what you're bringing.
Yeah, and then you have to be brave enough to walk away from it.
Yes.
And not be like on some old bitter, like, oh, y'all didn't appreciate me. It's fine.
A mutual respect thing.
It's fine.
Yeah.
Like, that's all y'all can afford.
Right.
And I'm outside of your budget right now.
And I'll do my show from another studio in Austell.
Yeah, so you're so silly. No,
kidding.
but I have a really good situation, and I've been treated very nicely, and I appreciate everything. But just for people who kind of like feel afraid, I think that the main thing people need to focus on is, especially women, I'd say this business is not about looking pretty. It's not even about having a great voice. When you're working with a company, they are looking at metrics. How valuable are you to the company?
Yes.
What's
your bottom line?
Yeah. What's the bottom line? Like, what are your ratings? How attractive are you to advertisers?
Yeah.
And so that's like a really big deal, And then I will say, conversely, you can have the metrics and they still feel like we need to go in a different direction.
Especially the professionalism and reliability taken into account there too.
Yeah. And so, I think that, you have to have the self-confidence in yourself. You have to put in the effort for your dreams like you do for your job.
Yeah.
So that you are confident and you are in a place mentally, professionally, financially, to where you can walk away if you feel like it's not right for you. And, going back to my fitness group, you know, I went from having 500 members consistently to right now only 48 members. And that is because I'm at a higher price point and I'm working with women who understand the value of what I offer.
Right. And they're going to take it serious because you're putting your all into it.
Yeah.
And if you got 500 people, but only
70
people are really applying what you're doing, then how does it make your brand look?
Yeah.
So now you got a higher turnover, a higher recidivism rate. I hope I said that word right. I don't have a master's. I feel like that was the right word though.
Yeah.
Right now with Maria Moore, man, we're just chopping it up, talking about her story. That was one of the questions I wanted to ask you. What, you know, some advice you would give to the up and coming person in the industry, a young lady, and you kind of just dropped some real gems on her. You know what I mean? Like, know your value and create that value, and then understand that the company is looking at that.
Yeah. And I also want to talk a little bit, Reece, if you don't mind, just about goal setting.
It's your time. Let's do it. Yeah.
To talk about goal setting. You know, people want things. You know, people say very generic things like, I want to make more money. I want a promotion. You know, I want my own morning show, my business to do well. But they don't set specific, tangible goals, measurable goals. And so I think that, you know, one thing for me is I'm just very big on productivity. Yeah. I'm very big on knocking out your to-do list and understanding what should be on your not to-do list.
Oh, say it again, not to-do list.
Yeah. And so, you know, I think, you know, a lot of times we make time for things that don't matter, that aren't contributing to our goals. Yeah. So, you know, when you set a goal, like say, if I say I want to secure 30 new members in my program. So what does that entail? Like I have 3 webinars coming up next week. Yeah. How often do I need to post on social media? You know, how many emails do I need to send out? How many Facebook ads do I need to put out there? You know, and so people don't understand that really, they think it's magic. Yeah. You know, people say, how did you pay off your debt? How did you do this? How did you do this? Your business or whatever.
Sacrifice, and it was goals, and it was
effort.
Yes.
Anytime someone comes to me complaining about where they are, I'm like, well, what did you do? And, you know, that's been one of the greatest things that I've learned as a coach with these women in my fitness program. And it's kind of like I've been able to apply in terms of productivity is that, man, I'm just not losing weight. All right, well, show me your meal log. Right. It doesn't exist. Yeah. Show me how many hours I'm stressed out. Show me how you've been sleeping. You know, show me how many hours you spending on social media. Right. Show me what you're doing on Netflix. So I'm like, do you want it? Yeah. Do you really want it?
You want to just say you want it. You want the result.
Magic. Yeah. It's not magic. And like, show me the people you hanging around.
Yeah. I always say this: if I'm hanging around 5 people that don't smell great, I'm funky.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
I love it.
That's what it is.
I mean, it's
so
true.
You got to figure that out.
Yeah. I mean, that energy is going to spill into your experience. Yeah. You know, and I mean, I hate to say it, Reece, but like, you know, what I've learned in terms of entrepreneurship, I'll tell you, like over the last 18 months, I probably spent close to $20,000 in my personal investing in me in terms of hiring a peak performance coach who's worked with me one-on-one, signing up for programs to help me understand digital marketing. Like I've really like invested in myself. And when I go into these communities of people who are entrepreneurs, I don't see many Black people. They're kind of like sprinkled in there. Right. And so one of the big things that I've just, you know, just always just had on my heart, even prior to becoming an entrepreneur, is just taking this message, this mindset, this ideology, and kind of planting it into the minds of people who just really don't understand and they feel stuck. Right. Like it's like you really got to try hard, and I think people think that they're not doing it right because it's hard. Yeah. And they be like, this must not be right.
No,
like
there's no cheat code.
Like it's supposed to feel hard. Yeah. Like if it feels hard,
that's it.
Then you in the bag.
Because
like,
everybody would be doing it if it wasn't.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And that's why I tell, you know, it's just kind of like how I teach my women how to build muscle. You know that like first set, you warming the muscles up. Yeah. Second set, you like, okay, it's kind of that third set, you like, oh my gosh, it is burning.
We're going to failure
and I
now.
tell people, you have to push past the burn. Like you have to push past the doubt. Yeah. You have to push past the confusion. Yeah. You have to push past and figure it out. Yeah. You know, and I tell people all the time, man, if you apply the same patience to yourself and your dreams that you have for other people that do not matter, you got so much patience for the stanky coworker. You got so much patience, you know, when you in a grocery store. You just got patience for people that are stanky and don't deserve your patience. But you don't have the same patience for yourself. Let me tell you something about me is I will try 900 different things until I find the one that sticks.
And then
a lot of people aren't willing to do that. I tell women that are trying to reach their fitness goals, you know, keep trying. Until you find something that works. I mean, you told me that. You was like, you gonna eat cookies. That's gonna be part of this. So we got to work around that. Drink water after 9 o'clock. Stop knocking down Oreos. Like, it just find a way to make it work for you. But you have to do the work. And it doesn't have to be drastic. Like people think that like, yo, I be telling people like, when it comes to discipline. You gotta know yourself, boo.
Right.
Yeah, I have women coming in eat fast food all the time. They never exercise. They be like, "Cool, I'm gonna do 90 minutes of exercise a day. I'm keto." I'm like, "Baby, when it comes to discipline, you not a black belt.
Yeah, you gotta ease into
you
this.
You not a blue belt. You not a green belt. You are a translucent belt. You ain't even got no color. That's where your discipline is at, and you gotta work your way up to it. So, you know, what does that look like? It may look like, okay, you're going to do 20 minutes of walking around your neighborhood. You know,
you're training your mind, then your body.
You're training, it's like you're going to wake up and you're going to put the water bottle on your nightstand. So when you wake up, you got to see it and you got to drink it. And people think that, oh man, that ain't going to move the yes, it does.
It does, because you're creating a lifestyle change. I remember Pops told me that a long time ago. Shout out to Pops. He was like, all right, don't do 100 push-ups a night. Do 5. Get your brain trained to do them. And then once you miss that one day, you're going to feel so bad, you're going to do 10. Then you're going to keep growing off of that. So it's mental. How big is it with the mental aspect of it when changing your body?
It's the everything. It's everything. Mental is real important, but I also tell people, you know, when you go into doing any goal, fitness, professional,
financial,
personal,
anything,
financial, any goal, you have to go in knowing that, you know, you always go in and start something new excited. You start a relationship excited. You start a new job excited. What people need to understand is motivation is not always going to be there. Right. But when you have habits, when you have a habit, you do things by default. So with habits, you do them without even knowing it. Like, you know, like if you have a certain route that you take home, you make left, rights, U-turns without even thinking because it's what you do all the time. And so I tell anybody, if you want to get something done and you want sustainable success, you must create habits. If you want to be a successful entrepreneur, you must create a habit of working in a distraction-free environment. Absolutely. You know, if you want to, you know, reach your fitness goal, you must create a habit around drinking water. You must create habits because you're not going to feel like doing things all the time.
That's true. That's true.
You know, you're going to get in an argument with your spouse. Somebody's going to pass away. You're going to get into a traffic accident. Your child is going to be wilding out.
Life is going to happen.
It is going to happen. But when you have habits in place, no matter what the goal, you're going to be successful by default.
I like it. I like it. Another word. Let's drop another hype bell for that. She's dropping all the gems today. We getting all the midday motivation.
Can we drop my cash app when
come on now.
I'm just joking.
You better say it. Bevie does it all the time. She's like, follow me on all my social media platforms, including Cash App. I like it right now. We kicking it with Miss Maria Moore. Miss Maria Moore Collins, can you give us a little advice for being a young black woman married to an amazing person? Like, give us like a day-to-day, like how that is, or just give us a little bit of insight on what marriage is or what some advice you may give to somebody.
Marriage is amazing.
Drop the bell again. I'm sorry.
Marriage is amazing when you like who you're married to.
There you go. They only have to love them, just like them.
Yeah, because you know, I think just kind of going back to the point about the motivation and the habits, and it's kind of like you. I think that when you go into a marriage, people really think that they're going to be married to the person that they marry on that day, and you have to understand that you are going to evolve and improve together. Right. And so you have to go in knowing that, you know, your environment, your love is gonna be different over time. Yeah. You know, and so, but you know, I think that with me and my husband, we were just very aligned. We're just two very aligned people.
A book of how this thing. It was like a fairy tale story of how this thing happened. But to see it still going in the growth, I just love it. It's very motivational.
Yeah, we just celebrated our 11th wedding anniversary.
I saw the pictures. I was like, oh, look at them.
Yeah, my husband is great.
Yeah.
He treats me really good. He never has made me feel like I have to choose between his love and my dream, which is very difficult for women who are very ambitious.
Yeah.
You know, I think any ambitious woman can say, a big reason why she's single is because, you know, a lot of times just men can't.
Yeah, insecure about how fast, hard, or driven a woman is, and they're not used to that.
Yeah. But I also think it's because my husband is driven and he's successful, so it's just kind of like, you know,
like
but even with like me being in the limelight and getting attention and you know, every now and then guys posting the wrong emoji,
ridiculous.
I'm like, boy, let me delete this before my husband, because he's from Baltimore
and he's definitely not to be played with. First of all, the man is 7'3". It's ridiculous.
Yeah. So I'm just like, please, brother, no.
Don't do that.
And I'm like, if you go to my social media, Instagram, like the first thing that's on there is not radio personality, not fitness coach, not even mother. My identity is wife. It's the first thing that you see. Like, please just stop. Like me and my husband are very open. Like, he sees my DMs. Stop it. Just stop. Like,
do that crazy. Value your life.
Well, you know, I tell men also, I'm like, yo, interact with me how you would want somebody to interact with your wife.
Say it again.
You know, so, but you know, we set goals together.
I like that.
You know, and we just have a really great. We have a great relationship. We're not all up on each other. Yeah. You know, it
seems like a lot of mutual respect, admiration. Yeah, I like that. I like it.
I like that he's not, you know, I don't know if I can say it. He's not a tramp.
Yeah, I got you.
You know, like if you look at his last 9 posts, you gonna see school, the kids. You gonna see maybe something about basketball with his homies.
You see a throwback with the music and stuff for some of his work. But but
like he didn't. You know, I'm like, you know, I'm not embarrassed.
Yeah,
you know
I feel you.
So, but he's great. He's really great, and I'm really blessed. And you know, God forbid if anything happened to him, he's my greatest love, and I, you know, like I'm good.
Right.
You know, so
that's what's up. That's what's up. But y'all's story, y'all meeting story.
Yeah.
They start on Twitter. Did it start on Twitter, right?
on Twitter. Like, you know, when I was still working at Hot, you know, you listening to hip hop all day, you need to detox your brain. Yeah. So I got in the car and I turned on the WCOK, the station over Clark, Atlanta. Yeah. You know, they play jazz, they play like, you know, whatever. You know, cool, like R&B, lots of indie artists.
It even you out.
Yeah, like
after a long day.
Little zen, you know what I'm saying? And so I had it on, and I heard a song that he produced and he wrote, and it was, the lyrics are very empowering. And I called the radio station. Shout out to DJ Tabone. I'll never forget. I called the station and I was like, who is that? And he was like, oh, you know, that's James Collins from Fertile Ground and yada yada. So I Googled him and then I found him on Twitter. And then so I sent him a tweet and I was like, oh yeah, I heard your song in Atlanta. He was living in Baltimore at the time. It's funny because he said he thought he was being catfished, because I had this like glammed out.
I would have thought that too, though. From a male perspective. Listen to how this story sounds. I heard your song on the Clark Atlanta station. I'm in Atlanta and I tracked you down through the internet up in Maryland, and then you go to see who you are. He's like, it's no way this lady just did that.
And you know, so he went into stalker mode.
Right.
So he's like, yeah, you went to American high school. You graduated in '96. I'm like, okay, you didn't do like you done a little bit. But it was really cool. So we from there, like, you know, and I wasn't even on Facebook that hard at the time, but he was, and so I got back on Facebook and we were exchanging messages on Facebook. Then we exchanged phone numbers and we were texting each other. Then we were calling each other on the phone. And that was happening like in October of 2009, and so by that December he was like, you know, I'm coming to Atlanta and spend New Year's with you. And so he came to spend New Year's with me, and it's funny because he actually got to meet my boys, because you know, I was a single mom before, and you know, AJ at the time, AJ was just a bonding person. So you know, we go out to Dave and Buster's and AJ like, can I call you Dad now?
That was over with. Shout out to AJ, making sure y'all stay together.
Oh, it was just like, oh, this is so much. And he was like, oh my gosh. Like, look, kid. And so, you know what James said? He said, let me earn it.
Look at that.
That's what he said to him.
Man.
He
James
said, let me earn it.
With the quotables.
Yeah. He said, let me earn it. And so that was December going into the new year. Then like 2 weeks later, I'm back in Baltimore to see him. You know, just I'm like, oh, let me see where you live or whatever. So I go to Baltimore, Reese, and so we go to his mom's house. Yeah. And like it's like 50 family members there.
Everybody over there.
So I'm like, y'all get together like this and watch the game? Like, you know, they're watching the Ravens.
Right. And now you're a Ravens fan too.
Yeah,
that makes
now I'm a Ravens fan.
Funny.
Yeah. And so like, you know, his family, like, you know, this is my auntie, this is my grandma. Yeah. You know, these are my nieces and nephews. I'm like, oh, y'all just
everybody,
tight, you know, like y'all just be 50 deep hanging out watching the game.
But you see what kind of person he is like that.
Well, let me tell you.
Okay.
So aunties are coming up to me like, he's like, this is Maria. And so auntie number one is like, hi, Maria.
So James ain't bringing everybody home.
Like something like, I'm like, hi, or whatever. So we're there, we watch the game or whatever. And we go back to his house, and that's when he proposed. But that was basically like, everybody knew what was happening. This is the girl I'm about to propose to. Y'all need to come meet her. And so that's what it. And so that's what it was. But yeah, we met in October, and we were engaged by that following January, and we got married that May.
Come on.
And we just had our 11th wedding year.
Like a 6-month turnaround. Y'all better stop dating somebody with 12 years. Nah, everybody's path is different.
But you know, I will say, my husband was like, what is wrong with the men in Atlanta? Why are you single? Like, what is going on?
Oh, we slow. They slow. They see something great and then try to find something greater. It's like, it ain't out there, bro. You back in, because the dating pool here got a little bit of pee in it. We're going to be for real. You know what I'm saying? It do. So
you crazy.
Get out these streets, man. It ain't for everybody. I had to get out these streets, too. Hey, you are a motivating factor for that. Because you was like, stop playing, go on and do it. Hurry up and do it.
Yeah.
So I appreciate you.
I love your wife so much.
Yeah, she is super dope, man.
I love her for you.
Yeah.
I love her for you.
Yeah.
I really, really like y'all's love.
You just like because you got high cheekbones too.
Yeah.
You biased.
I mean, she's gorgeous. You got you a hot little thing there. Yeah.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Say with James. You know, keep respectfully. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I appreciate you sharing that, man. You are doing your thing. We just wanted to bring you on today to bring your flowers. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
I would love for you to tell everybody how to get this merchandise, this self-love, so gangster shirts, these smart chick shirts. You got so many different brands, so much merchandise that fits your brand.
Yeah.
You don't just do things, you do things that make sense.
Yeah.
So tell folks how they can, find you and everything like that.
Well, before I get into that, I want to shout out Pops. I want to shout out you.
Thank you.
Because, I had this idea for the Smart Chick brand, and I remember going online to a really expensive screen printer, and they were charging me oh my gosh, $11 per shirt.
I remember.
Talk about respecting the hustle. So I'm buying the shirts for 11, I'm selling them for 15. I'm not charging shipping, so I'm literally making 70 cents per shirt.
Maybe less.
And I'm trying to figure it out, And I remember you and Pops, you were like, email me the logo. And then I look outside and there's 100 shirts on my front door. And that was the beginning. I still use, that was years ago.
Yeah.
Maybe almost 10 years ago.
Crazy, right? It doesn't
I
feel
still use the screen printer that you introduced me to.
Tony.
Yes.
Crazy.
I still use Tony.
That's what's up.
And so I appreciate that so much. But to answer your question, mariamore.com, MARIAMORE, mariamore.com. That's where you can buy me.
That's what's up. Yep. Listen, I just want to say this because I've been the same way. We get kindred spirit when it comes to if I see somebody doing something, I'm never gonna hate. So I'm gonna be like, hey, try this because it saved me money, or don't make the mistake we made, or this or that. You know what I'm saying? Because it's not gonna hurt me to share love. How does that hurt me? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because some people are like, well, how you gonna give them your plug? It don't hurt me. That's what it's for.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So that's what's up. I'm glad to see that it's still working for you.
Yep, that's the mindset and energy that's gonna open you up to opportunities and gonna attract the right people to your life.
Yeah, and I appreciate you always showing up different things. Like we do the book readings. You came to the school. You brought Liggy with you a few times. You know what I mean? So we appreciate you always being there.
Good times. Good times.
Yep. When outside open back up, we back at it again. So get ready.
Whenever that happens.
Right.
I'm a little spoiled. Like people like, when you going back in the gym? I was like, man, I'm training people in Dallas
through the camera.
And like through the camera. For real. And you actually taught me something because I saw what you were doing and use my strength. Now I'm teaching classes to teach people how to make commercials and do production online and voiceover work online. And it's crazy. It's all virtual. If I could add a blurb about that, you have something. Everyone has something. Bevie has something. Brother, I'm so sorry. Tell me your name again. Mac. Mm-hmm. Everybody has something. Somebody goes to you and they're always asking you for advice about something specific.
Yes.
Whether it is how to do radio production, how to be more natural in front of the camera, how to work video equipment. Someone is always asking you for advice. Yeah. So for me, I was like, people are always asking me about fitness. Create a course. Create an online course. Charge $50 for it, create it, make it evergreen, and just promote it and make it passive income.
Absolutely.
But man, don't let your talents go to waste. Don't let it go to waste.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm doing something else now, and I'll talk to you about it when we get off the camera, because it's something I didn't think I would be doing, but it's crazy. It's all positive though. Yeah. You know that. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
I appreciate you. All right, Maria, thank you so much for coming through. We have talked for almost an hour.
Yeah, it's crazy. Don't even feel like it. 10 minutes.
Right. We catching up though. Once again, follow her across all social platforms. Maria Moore online, More. That's how she spells Moore. Fellas, stay out her DMs because James ain't playing. And shout out to my boy James, man, for making sure that our website, Positive American Youth, is always top notch. We appreciate you, bro. All right, man. Anything you want to say before you get up out of here?
No, just thank you. And I'm so proud of you, Reece.
That's what's up.
I'm so proud of you.
There's a lot coming from you.
Don't you cut me off.
I'm not. I was about to. Go ahead. Marathon continues. Go ahead. I'm not going to cut you off.
I'm really proud of you. And I'm proud of what you've built here. And there are just great things in store. You know, I remember when I started my personal training business, and I remember trainers in Atlanta teasing me, making fun of me, saying that I was inexperienced, going on my clients' Instagrams and leaving sarcastic comments because I was building and I was trying to figure it out. Now I have run laps around those people. Last year, I made over $200,000 in my business.
Crazy training.
Not even giving 100% of my time. And so
this is through the pandemic.
Yes.
Talk to me.
And so I see great things. Great things are happening for you.
Thank you.
Just stay the course.
I'm not leaving it.
Okay. Good.
Two things before we go. One thing, what would you tell a 21-year-old Maria Moore if you could give her like one sentence?
Trust the process.
Okay. I
know that's generic, but I think that puts everything into one thing. It's real, like literally you have to trust the process.
That goes back into what you said. The road gets rough sometimes, but you got to stay the course.
Yeah.
So I like it. All right, last thing. We always give a Reese's Pizza Mine and Pops Knows Best, but we have the master of midday motivation. Could you please share a midday motivation with our audience? I would greatly appreciate it.
You know, one of my favorite ones is a mountain may block your view, but it will also give you its back to climb. So find a freaking way.
There we go.
Yeah.
There we go. I like it. Just don't let it be Stone Mountain because some folks up there won't like it. I appreciate you, Maria.
All right.
We're about to get up out of here. Before we go, as always, shout out to my beautiful co-host, Bevie Stitch. Follow her on all social media platforms, Bevie Stitch, including Cash App, fellas. All right, don't forget that. Follow us at Reec Radio Online and Reec Show Live. And of course, follow me on Instagram at Reec Swiney, ReecSwiney. Before we go and get into this mix at noon, you know who somebody got to holler at ya.
Hey, Atlanta. I'm Milana. And I'm Ariana. This is Kylan. It's Kalia. And you're listening to Daddy Reece. Who you with?
You know what it is. Stay blessed, y'all. We gone. DJ Boogie right here. L Boogie right here with this midday mix.
Bringing the best DJs and livest mixes right to your house, car, and businesses. Time to kick off the lunch mix.